The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode. And now, here's Brandon.
Welcome back to the Old Space Show. I'm Brandon, and this is my co-captain, Jim.
Keeping things old and spacious, as always.
This installment of the Old Space Show continues our episode-by-episode travelogue through the second season of Space 1999, where the moon is knocked out of orbit, wandering through outer space, the population of its human-built colony hoping to stumble upon a new home. Today, we are talking about the fifth episode, Journey to where?
Turn down for what? I mean, journey to where? A transmission from Dr. Logan in Texas City leads the Alphans to believe they can finally land back on Earth through a revolutionary teleportation process. The downside is that it is now 2120 on Earth, and the surface has become an unbreathable wasteland through centuries of pollution. The Alphans, though, are intent on abandoning the wandering moon. However, due to a hitch, the Alphan test subjects find themselves in a primitive and hostile environment. It is Scotland in the 14th century, where the Scots are at war with the English invaders who kidnap the Alphan trio.
This was directed by Tom Clegg. New Blood. New Blood. This is the first of 5 episodes from Tom Clegg. He is just a veteran director of British television. I'm going to use that typical phrase. It's written by Donald James, who also wrote The Exiles from this season, and it guest stars Freddie Jones and Isla Blair. Jones we're going to talk about here in a sec, but Blair, she was previously in Space 1999 as a female alien in War Games, and she was Isabella in the Doctor Who serial The King's Demons during the Peter Davison era, and she appeared in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and just loads of British television.
Plus,
well known and not known.
Plus a few good Hammer films. Too.
Yes.
The Blood of Dracula, Dr. Terror's House of Horrors. So,
yeah.
Absolutely.
But Freddie Jones, Jim, let's talk about Freddie Jones. Who's Freddie Jones?
Well, to me, he will always be Thufir Hawat in David Lynch's Dune. But, my friends, he's been in so many damn movies. Young Sherlock Holmes, The Black Cauldron, Firestarter, Crawl, Firefox, The Elephant Man, Juggernaut, Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed, which is a great Peter Cushing Hammer movie. Just an incredible amount of films starting in 1967. His last appearance was in 2015, and tons of movies in between. If you don't know his face, then you've probably never seen a movie in your life.
Boom.
But Lynch used him a lot in Wild at Heart as well. You know, so, yeah, great. Again, you recognize his face. The only thing about this one is he's supposed to be in New Texas City or whatever. And he very has a very stoic British accent.
Right.
So,
no, it's the future.
From the British part of Texas.
Right. He plays a character named Dr. Charles Logan, which is the name of the evil president from 24.
Ooh.
Played by Gregory Itzin. So I was like, oh. Ha ha ha. So this one opens up a neutrino transmission is being transmitted. Can you believe that? A transmission is being transmitted? Who'd have thought?
This is a neutrino transmission. We are trying to reach you about your car's warranty.
It's being transmitted to Alpha from an unknown source. When asked to identify themselves, they reply that they are from Texas City, planet Earth. Dr. Charles Logan tells the Alphans that a galactic eclipse is moving between the moon and Earth in 72 hours. But if they act quickly, act now, and do as he says, a return to Earth is possible. The Alphans are like, woohoo! But Koenig is like, huh.
Well, first they find out it's 2120 AD.
Yeah.
Right? They left in 1999.
Right.
So that's way longer than they probably thought they were gone.
True.
I would think, right? And this part, where, like you said, Koenig is very cautious. He starts quizzing him on Earth trivia.
Right? He's like,
funny.
Who won the World Series in 1958? And then it was like, who was the name of the wife of the first man in space? That's not what Martin Landau sounds like at all, but...
No. Walter Winchell as Martin Landau. The funny part about this part is, though, he says, what is the name of the first, the wife of the first man in space? He goes, the first man in space wasn't married, Alan Shepard, blah, 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 right? And then he goes, who won the 1998 World Series? And he goes, oh, I don't need to look on the computer for that. It was, the Red Sox, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, who knows off the top of their head baseball statistics from 120 years ago?
Right.
Come on. Really?
Yeah.
That's the one you would know?
Oh,
he's
good.
such an
baseball.
American, too, to be into baseball, Yes, well, the World Series.
Wow, you happen to pick the one thing I know everything about. Wow.
Right.
When Dr. Logan asked if they're ready to start work on the transference dome, Koenig's like, nope. This is when he asked them those questions. And the rest of the Alphans like, dude, come on. And Koenig's like, all right, we can do this. And then Carla, who is with Dr. Logan, begins to tell them of Earth 2120, that mankind's been forced into domed cities by pollution of the 21st century. But with the use of their personal telesensual systems, they can create an illusion of spring in the Rocky Mountains or fall in Old England.
Hold on, stop. I think you glossed over an important point here.
Yeah, sure.
There's a comic relief section that keeps recurring in this episode about Tony and his brewing beer.
Oh yeah. I was gonna
now,
touch
first
that.
off, he starts off with like a habit trail with a bunch of radio parts inside of it and a wave machine on top, right?
Yeah, with the 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's
right. And he makes the beer and he gives it to Maya, and she tries it, and she turns into Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
Like, not just some crazy person, but specifically
Mr.
Hyde. And I'm like, how the hell does she know who Mr. Hyde is?
Right?
Like, she's from Zarkon or whatever the hell, right?
Yeah.
Do they have Mr. Hyde on Zarkon? But I wrote here, playful banter or awkward dialogue. You decide.
Yeah, I had down, I said, I think there's supposed to be chemistry between Tony and Maya. I was like, she's doing her damnedest, but he gives nothing.
I know, it's hilarious. I also wanted to mention in this episode, Freddie Jones dresses like a Puritan waiter.
Yeah.
In this episode, he's got like the bib or whatever, but like the longer pants, and he looks like he should be taking my order at a Puritan restaurant. And and Isla Blair looks like she should be a stewardess on a space flight.
Well, she has
I'm sorry.
She has TV's Frank, his hair. That's what she's got.
Yes, TV Frank's hair.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
TV's Frank.
And then there's she's explaining about how like the people all live in these domes or whatever on these like little stems.
They show these sweet matte paintings.
A lot of matte paintings and models.
And their houses pretty much look like the Jetsons, right?
Yeah.
Only the cities rather than just a building floating up in the sky, or kind of like the Legion of Doom dome from Super Friends.
Yeah,
that kind of floating dome. But yeah, some sweet matte paintings there. And like you said, they talked about their quote unquote sensory rooms, right? That's VR,
right?
That they're talking about, be able to. And it's so funny because they're like, well, if we can use this VR, we can go to any nature or whatever. They're like, well, why don't you just go to nature? And they're like, well, because it's all gone. Because there is no nature anymore. We killed it all.
We can't do nature anymore here on Earth. Nature's gone.
We don't do the nature. And then, but the thing they say, the line I really liked was, they're explaining this to the Alphans. They're like, well, with our, sensory rooms or whatever, who needs nature? And they all toast to that. They all toast, who needs nature? Hurrah! I'm like, what?
Right.
And then we get another installment of Tony's brewery subplot with Alan making his joke about Tony's beer.
Yeah.
They have to make a joke about his beer as the show goes on.
Of course. So we have to, they swap an item through the transference thing to see if it works. It does. And they're like, okay, time for people. And, and the people they select is Koenig, Helena, and Alan. And when they're going to transfer...
the first and second, the first in command, the only doctor, and the best pilot.
Yes.
Let's send them. Go ahead.
So they disappear an earthquake strikes when it happens, and they don't arrive in Texas City. They arrive in some location. There's a location shoot in season 2. I don't think we've had that yet.
Well, I have a couple notes here. First of all, I wrote the transfer device looks like a lucite photomat or the isolation booth from an old game show.
Right.
Like when they put someone in the isolation booth to ask a question they wouldn't hear, right? And then I wrote also, Dr. Logan's office looks like the boardroom of a tech company that makes only charts.
Yes.
Because it's like black lines and checks on the walls. I'm just like, wow, this is what do you call it? Excel? Microsoft Excel as your decorator? What the hell?
Oh, God. I did note though, like with the people who get lost out, we have the OG crew here, Helena, Koenig, Carter. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like that's nostalgia. Is that what that's called? Nostalgia,
I guess.
So they're in like some lush wilderness place. Question is if Earth is uninhabitable outside the domes, where are they at? And they explore. Alan gets attacked by a man with a sword. Koenig saves him, but they go back, and Helena, she gets ill, and she's like...
Alan gets attacked by Gimli from Lord of the Rings.
Right, exactly. They find... when they get back here, she's been captured, and they get taken, and then on Alpha, they're like getting data from medical monitors, knowing that, well, they're alive, but we have no idea where they're at. And Dr. Logan's like, we're going to find them, too. We're going to try to recreate what made them go with bombs and see
if here's something I didn't get. Check this out. All right, this sequence, right, like you're talking. They want to recreate the experience of the quake by using bombs.
Yeah.
They want to try to recreate the exact quake by blowing stuff up. So they do that, and somehow that lets them know that they're still on Earth.
Like, oh, they're still there.
I don't understand that logic. I played that back 3 times trying to figure that out. So the explosion lets us know that they're on Earth because they have the vital signs letting them know that they're alive.
Mm-hmm.
But this is somehow the blowing up and making a fake quake lets them know that they're on Earth.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna think about it too much. Let's move on.
Yeah. So they're So Helena's like getting really sick, but there's like something on the wall, like a fungus that's like, oh, that's you make a cure out of that, but we need to heat it up.
That's how antibiotics work.
Yep.
Totally.
So Koenig and Alan like make a distraction. They
what is up? Wait, no. You're downselling this. Okay.
Create a ruckus.
First, they start kicking on the door. Okay. They're kicking on the door. They're trying to break the door. They kick on the door and make as much of a ruckus like it says they can. Okay. The guards open the door and rush in. Koenig somehow makes some disco lights happen. Did you see that scene?
Yeah.
They walk in and he waves his hand, and there's some weird rainbow lights all around him, and they're all mystified by it. And then Alan beats the crap out of them, and they run away.
Run away!
What the hell? Is he a first level illusionist or something? What's going on with that?
It's total Space 1999 season 2 malarkey.
I did not get it at all. I'm sorry.
So
it was hilarious though.
Alan jumps a guard. Koenig takes another. They go to the woods and they start working on the medicine. And Helena sees the moon, and John thinks she's delirious. Gives her the remedy. Then Alan and John look and realize she's right. They must be on Earth at some point in time before the moon left. They're okay, so we're in the past.
In a time before 1999.
Yes. They are in space 1339.
Yes.
They're recaptured. They get brought to the table. They get to eat and drink with the Scotsmen, or they ask why 3 Englishmen would be wandering through the forests of Scotland. And when he learns that Helena is sick, he assumes that they have been turned out by some English lord because she has the plague.
Yep,
and
that's the only sickness there ever is.
Yeah, to prevent the spread of disease to his people, he commands that they be burned, and they're shackled to a wall, and pyre is assembled before them. Koenig...
That was the weirdest pyre, too. It was part of a cave. They were chained to part of a cave, but there was a giant pile of sticks, but it wasn't really near them.
Right.
Or they lit one side of the sticks, and they waited Because it took forever
Yeah.
for that fire to catch.
Right. No, he did totally. But like they're doing that, and like so Helena's got like a watch monitor thing that changes colors, and Koenig does Morse code with it back to Alpha.
Right.
And the funniest thing on Alpha, there's like this old bald guy with a mustache, like, it's an old code.
Right.
Like,
He's the
who
only
are
one who's
you?
ever heard of Morse code. Alfie.
An old code. It's an older code, sir, but it checks out.
Right. It's Alfie, the never seen before and never seen again crew member.
And he looks like he just does not fit in at all with this show. Like,
no, he looks like he's cleaning up the set while they're gone.
Right.
They'll be there. He's not even really wearing like the Alpha uniform. He's wearing like something else.
Yeah, he was just really weird. The message is received on Alpha, and the old code recognized and decoded by the computer. The information is then passed to Dr. Logan. He and Carla recalibrate the transport for Scotland 1339. As the flames rise, Koenig, Helena, and Alan are transported back to Alpha.
Just in time.
Just in time, but not in time, because Logan contacts Alpha to tell them the communication channels will be closing. And Koenig says goodbye and thanks for trying just before the eclipse severs all communications.
It's so sad they were so close to get back to Earth. They get so close and they didn't make it. I can't.
They were so close.
I'm so verklempt.
John visits Helena in the medical center. She says it was a shame of that. Of all times, they landed in 1339 Scotland. John lists a few worse possibilities. Helena says, with a history like that, who wants to go back to Earth anyway? And
there's another zinger that doesn't land. Yeah. Like she says it like it's supposed to be like, ha 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 ha. But like, what? Mm-hmm. You want to go back to Earth, don't you? Isn't that the whole point of the show? I'm so confused now. Okay.
Right.
I thought that was the idea.
But this episode did give us a hell of a smooch between Koenig and Helena.
Yes.
Like, keep it in the trailer on the set, guys. Oh.
No, they're definitely cementing that relationship this season. They're going out of their way to make it a thing. So it's not just like a subtle thing. They're really going out of their way to make it a thing. Same way they're trying to force Maya and Tony together, even though they have no chemistry at all.
Yeah. This one, decent little time travel mishap.
It was cool to see what happened to Earth after they left. Uh-huh. It was cool to see the map paintings of the dome cities and stuff, and of course the big social commentary about how pollution destroyed the planet.
Right.
So
it felt like two scripts got combined to one. Like,
kind of.
Because it's like, well, what was the point of the like? Couldn't you done just an episode where they went to Scotland on accident or something happened, and then do another one where there's like Earth in the future, but it's just not right? Like I don't know. It felt like two things that could have been explored more that neither of them got explored enough.
And Tony's beer, so funny.
Yeah. Oh gosh, Tony.
So funny. Tony making beer.
Oh gosh, he's the best.
Tony's
the best.
Tony, what a scamp.
I don't miss Victor Bergman at all. I do.
What a rascal.
Tony.
Oh
gosh. Oh, well, with that out of the way, that'll do it for another Moon Buggy adventure. Jim, where can people keep up with you and your happenings and your podcasting and all of that stuff?
Make it sound like so much. The Taylor Network Podcast.com. You can check me there on Nothing's On weekly, where we talk about TV and movie news, keeping you up to date with some fun shenanigans. Also on that channel, the Players Club, our monthly look at video games. We'll be putting up a new episode of that pretty soon. By the time this comes out, we're going to be looking at Deathloop and a lot of the other big fall and winter releases. Also, catch me on the Walking Dead TV podcast. We've been watching this show since the very beginning, and we're going to watch it all the way to the very end. And the final season just kicked off, and we're going to be watching it and reviewing it and watching along with you and getting our wonderful feedback from our listeners. So that's at hhwlod.com.
All right, excellent. Hashtag Tone IPA. I'm on Twitter and Instagram, BrandForKUHD. Written work at WhySoBlue.com. There's more from the Brandon Peters Show this week, next week, all around. Go back weeks. We got good stuff here. We got Jim and I doing season 1. So if you jump into season 2 and you're like, these guys are so good at Martin Landau space adventures, go listen to the first season. And thanks for tuning in. But until next time,
Alpha out.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios, and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at BrandonPetersShow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at BrandonPetersShow.com. The show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.